Shamu from IG in Melbourne. Stan, thanks so much for your time bright and early this morning. Let's start with our market today because SPI futures are currently flat. A bit of a mixed read on commodity prices leading into this local session today. How do you think we'll stand up at the open?
Yeah, absolutely. It does seem like we will have a fairly flat open at around that 46.25 to 46.30 level. Of course, on Monday when we did leave for the Christmas break, markets in Asia had a fairly steady session with most equities actually managing to edge higher going into the break. Unfortunately, in US and European trade, we did see markets decline. Of course, the fiscal cliff negotiations continue to be front and center of some of the concerns that investors have. But at the same time, they were all shortened sessions, not much volume going through, so it wasn't too surprising to see markets just drift into that close. But looking at today's session, I don't think there's too much of a lead apart from what's been happening in Japan. Of course, Japanese markets were open yesterday, and that probably will be the key driver of sentiment today. Just looking at the FX space, we did see the Aussie dollar decline in line with risk assets on Monday in US trade. Dropped back into that 1.036 region, but it's bounced back fairly well to around 1.037 over the past couple of days, just sort of flatlined around that level. So that's a better indicator of sentiment, I suppose. That might be a good lead heading into today's session where we expect that flat open. Of course, with commodities fairly mixed, we do expect to see most of the resource names just mixed as well. But we do expect BHP to open higher, up about 0.4% at $37. That's still supported by iron ore prices, which seem to have found some ground above $135 a ton, and they're just showing signs of steadying around there. At the same time, the retailers like Harvey Norman, David Jones, Myer, they'll all be in focus today, following reports that we have seen record sales, or they have seen record sales over the Christmas break. Of course, yesterday was the Boxing Day sales, and it seems like they have genuinely come around now, just following those rate cuts that we've seen over the past few months.
Stan, Japan also in focus at the moment. The new Prime Minister appointing and announcing cabinet. What are you expecting from the Nikkei? Because we've seen the yen down at two-year lows against the US dollar.
Yeah, of course, yesterday the Nikkei was actually up 1.5%, so they're enjoying solid gains at the moment. They traded at their highest level this year so far. Just a bit of an early indication of where the Nikkei might open. We're expecting a 1% gain to around 10,330, and that really does show how much Shinzo Abe has come in to rein in the changes. Of course, that leaves the Nikkei trading at its highest level since March 2011, and that's of course when those earthquakes occurred, and that will definitely set the tone for Asia today. That might be a better lead than the US, which obviously has been closed for a number of days now. And of course the dollar yen will be the main thing to focus on. We did see it print a high of around 85.73. It's being held by quite a few factors at the moment. We did hear comments from Shinzo Abe over the weekend suggesting that he will appoint a BOJ governor with policies more aligned to the new government. They're looking to maintain the dollar yen between 85 and 90, which is a big one at the moment for traders. And at the same time, it really does look like they've come in, their message is clear. I think investors are getting the same message as well, which will probably be a big help for the dollar yen and the Nikkei going forward. A sustainable weak yen will definitely be a boost for the exporters over in Japan, and will continue to help the Nikkei rise after having been bashed over the past couple of years, particularly following that earthquake. So yeah, no, it's all about Japan at the moment. Those BOJ minutes from yesterday, from the November policy meeting, will continue to gain traction as well. And we'll probably start hearing some comments from the ministers after the cabinet was announced yesterday, particularly from the Ministry of Finance. Everyone will be hoping to hear that firm inflation target of 2%, and at the same time what sort of targets they'll be expecting for the dollar yen going forward.
Okay, Stan Shamu from IG, thanks for your update this morning.
Cheers, Kate.